Hello, Sangeetha. Jake, good to see you again. How are we? Anita, Helen, Lucia, Tara, hello. Did I miss anyone? Kath, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you very much.
Excellent.
You're looking well.
Always, thank you. Stop it. Laura, lovely to see you. Courtney, hello. G'day. Andrea.
Sorry, I'm a walking sneeze machine, so I'm going to make sure I stay on mute.
That is very okay. All right, we'll just give it 1 or 2 more minutes as people are sort of finishing up from the other session and making their way over to this one. But how's everyone's day been going so far? Did we get to the keynote and things like that? It was fabulous, I thought. It's very eye-opening. Yeah.
Excellent. And this last panel was amazing. Learned so much from that. Wow.
Yeah. Great. That is what we are here for. So fabulous. Yeah. Okay, look, it is a couple of minutes past, so we'll get started and we'll make sure we are sort of admitting people as they come in. So look, just before we start, a little bit of housekeeping, and that is just to let you know that this session is being recorded, and there will be communications that go out post CS EdX about where you can access any of the recordings, access any of the resources. They will be actually housed in a hub, so you'll have access to those post CS EdX, and there'll be emails and things going out about how you can access them for the future. Just to let you know, obviously, we'd love to see you putting lots of things in the chat. Please feel free to kind of engage in that space. If you do have a more formal question that you'd like to ask the group, I just ask you to put it in the Q&A section, just so that we don't kind of end up scrolling past those questions as well. So, yeah. But apart from that, I will now sort of formally open it. So look, good afternoon. We are the afternoon. Welcome, everyone. I'm delighted to have you here for the workshop, which is titled AI in Assessment, a Transferable Framework for Diverse Disciplines. So my name is Kelly Jackson. I will be your facilitator today, but it is my pleasure to introduce to you your hosts, Dr. Anela Seric, Pierre Woon, and Anna Torres, who are going to be guiding you through today's session. So no more of me. I'm going to hand you just straight over to those guys. So thank you so much.
Can everybody see my screen?
Perfect. Well done.
Great. Welcome, everybody. I would like to start by acknowledging where I'm coming from to you from the lens of the Wiradjuri in this virtual space. And I also acknowledge the traditional custodian of the various lands on which you all are joining from today. I would like to also encourage everyone to please share the nation you're joining from today in the chat. And I pay my respect to elders past, present, and extend that respect to celebrate the rich cultural diversity of all First Nations people here today. So welcome everybody to this workshop, AI in Assessment, a transferable workshop for diverse disciplines. And shout out to my team member, Anela and Anna, and they will chip in if I miss anything as I go through these slides with you. Everyone should have received a framework document in a Word file where we try to put up together what we call framework, and with these CARE Plus principles, and I would roughly quickly briefly go through that with you, and that values or principles are then translated into 6 different design stages if we want to especially trial AI in our assessment for the first time. And in that framework document, at the end of it, you will also find some of the resources that we use when we implement the AI in our assessments, which we like to share with you, and you can, feel free to adapt that and design that into your subjects. So we did not come up with the values or principles first and then implement it in our subject, but we actually work it the other way around. So I started trialing using AI in my assessments in accounting subjects since 2024, first session last year in accounting subjects. And I first tried in a very small weightage assessment at just 5% and in a very discursive nature of work. And at that time, I was new to AI as well. And having gone through that different sessions and see how AI developed by not having able to answer if I were to put in a discursive and a calculative nature kind of question into AI, at the very beginning, say about early last year, AI won't have a clue, be able to give quite impressive or look impressive response. But when you read in detail, technically it is meaningless. But just a matter of 3 months later, they are able to actually produce an answers that come up with pretty convincing response with perfect calculation plus accurate references made to accounting standards, which is our accounting law. So that freaked me out a bit. So then I have to take a while to reflect on what I like to do in this space. And so I tried quite different things. And this session just completed. I tried in another new subject as well, together with interactive oral assessment. So then I have these two lovely colleagues come to me and say, what have I done? And I share with them what I have done in this space. And we end up, come up with these so-called models or principles or values, whatever you like to call it. And hopefully these values are transferable and be able to apply in any subjects that anyone like to trial AI in your assessment. So I'm talking about contextual authenticity, where we try to make it like a real world scenario for students to be able to trial any real world scenario in their assessment. For example, in my accounting subjects, my students are asked to prepare a set of financial statements, balance sheet, income statement, which is what their work will be if they work as an accountant. So to ensure academic integrity, I put in some features to make sure that they have mechanisms to actually, declare their work, how they have used AI. And also I limit some of the number of prompts that they use in order to make sure that everyone is on the same level of playing field. Some of the other values that we try to incorporate in there is also about empowerment. So we like students to look at their work, think about what they're doing, and also at the end of the day, write a short reflection about how they have used AI and how AI have actually influenced their approach in solving the problems that they have been given. At the end of the day, we want to promote the ethical use of AI by incorporating what I call a prerequisite quiz in the assessment and get them to trial and complete those readings and not so much of a quiz as in like question and answer, but actually a whole lot of materials to go through, introducing AI to them, introducing what's the responsible use of AI to them. And only that I release some critical information about assessment to the students. And that's why I call that a prerequisite quiz. And hopefully with these values that we put in, the entire model is actually transferable, where any one of you here, if you're interested in adapting all these values in your subject, then it should be quite adaptable for your subject or discipline, specific and meaningful to you. So how these are being translated into the 6 different stages. So student preparation, all these values that I mentioned earlier are now translated into these 6 chronological stages, where first of all, I designed the quiz that incorporates some resources from our CSU on library design resources about AI, how they learn about AI, what are the good prompts, how they can use AI responsibly. And I get students to go through, well, possibly not everything that we have, but those that I find useful for my students, I would make sure that they go through them, and I allocate some workload for them while they go through those resources. And as I said earlier, once they finish that resources, then only they access to their information, and this whole work that they have to finish are then designed in the next 3 stages, which is in the assessment design, evaluation of AI outputs, and application and decision making. So I've trialed different things. I have trialed get students to prepare their own financial statements before they get AI to produce. And I've also trialed students to get students to actually get AI to produce their work first, and then only they critique on AI's output. And in the most recent session, I actually gave the liberty to the students to decide, but that's when I find that the students are actually quite lost, especially those who are new to AI and say, what do I do with AI? So they, in this session just passed, I actually want them to actually decide whether you would come up with the financial statement first, or you would get AI to come up with the financial statements and critique on that, and then come up with your own version. So I tried 3 different things, but it's all around getting students to definitely evaluate AI output and be able to decide whether they would adapt, or actually reject AI's responses in their work before they submit. And there is this reflection piece that they have to submit in written reflection. But in order to increase the authenticity, especially in line with the supervised assessment in our MEA model recently, so the next thing I'm going to change in my subject, how I use AI, is actually to use oral reflections, or even design it to be an interactive oral assessment component to increase the authenticity of the work. So Anela and Anna would now share how they actually adapt this framework in these 6 stages into their subjects. So Anela, would you like to go first?
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, so my context was slightly different because I'm teaching a postgraduate subject. And so my thinking of this started a few months ago as I was preparing for the 90 session. So what I'm going to talk about today, I don't have inputs from students, what they think of it, although I actually did receive one email that sounded really excited about my ideas that I had. So developing assessments that would allow students to use AI was a journey for me. So it started with exploration of many things, and I won't go into the details, but I've definitely got into it. And then there was a moment where I had to let go of all of these additional ideas from various places. And I had to focus on my subject. What was the idea for that subject? What it is that I wanted students to actually learn. And I remembered last time I was thinking in teaching this subject, I wanted students to get more out of it. I wanted them not to do just transactional stuff. I wanted them to learn additional layer of business strategy. And that was strategic thinking. So from there, I went into the literature to see if that actually exists. And I was lucky to find that there were a few journal articles that conceptualized strategic thinking as having 3 components. There were synthesis, creativity, and vision. And this was exactly what I wanted students to do in the 3 assessments. So there was an alignment between this idea of strategic thinking and its component and the assessments that we traditionally give to students in a business strategy subject. So from there, I started thinking of AI as a creative collaborator for my student. This was important because it allowed me to go into more creative process in designing these assessments. So yes, I did redesign the assessments to allow students to use AI, but I had to make sure that they're not getting a message that it's okay to use AI to do the work for them. Instead, they were asked to use AI purposefully and creatively to engage in strategic thinking. And they were asked to do this in a group work. What could go wrong? Yes. So strategic decisions are typically made as part of an executive team. So group work is actually something that allows students to see what the reality might look like. So those different components of strategic thinking then were needed in different assessments. So that I really thought carefully about scaffolding. In the first assessment, asked students to use synthesis as the first level of strategic thinking. And then moving on from there, they've used vision and then creativity to come up with new strategic options for the organization. So all three assessments in this subject are based on the same case study. So what I have is that natural progression and scaffolding where students are building on the work that they have done in previous assessments. Apart from group work, I also included role playing, where students were meant to take on a specific executive role, and then they were meant to present their point of view from that executive's role, which I think is a little bit playful, which I'm happy about. And also the third ingredient in my recipe was individual reflection, so that students could have that opportunity to pause and to see where they are and to become aware how their engagement with their group and their use of AI is actually helping them to change how they think and to develop that strategic thinking. So what I wanted to emphasize is that deciding to use AI in assessments is a journey. And it does take a bit of time to go through all of these processes and to see what are the actual needs of the subject and how AI can enhance what we're delivering to students. And I also had great help from Mark Sandilands, who is here today, and also Per. So thank you very much for all of our chats on this and listening to me. I'm grateful for all of that. I'm happy to answer any questions, but I'll move on and give Anna the podium. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Arnella, and thanks for everyone for taking the time to join us today. Well, my story is a little bit different because I was approached by a group of students who had completed the second assessment of Law 110. At the end of my lecture in the Woga campus, they came to me and said, Anna, why is it that all of us did poorly in the second assessment item? My question was, well, were you working together? Were you advising each other? Were you engaging in some type of misconduct or sharing? No, Anna, they said all of us were using AI. And the problem that we have is that we have been obtaining amazing grades when we use AI in other subjects. So why is it that we cannot use AI to solve legal problems? And I'm like, all right, so they are bringing me their problem. I need to put AI on the stand, literally, for these non-lawyers. So I had some thinking about it, and I spent a lot of time talking with Pierre, who I think she's the AI guru when it comes to education, implementation, and assessment design. So I said, I need to tick 3 major boxes. I need to make sure that my assessment item allow students to achieve the subject learning outcomes. I need to take into account the principle of assessments at CSU. So it needs to be authentic, it needs to be exciting, it needs to promote deep learning, etc. And needs to reflect or the hierarchical thinking of Bloom's taxonomy. So I wanted the students to be able to criticize, to reflect, to synthesize. So I said, okay, Anna, now you cannot, you cannot defeat AI, you cannot beat them, you might as well join them. So what I decided to do is that I designed an assessment item that is comprised of 3 components. So in terms of preparation, and I follow peers' recommendation, I ask my students to complete a non-accessible quiz before gaining access to some of the components of the second assessment item. I also gave them other links and resources provided by the DLT on the use of AI. I even gave them the statement of principles for the use of artificial intelligence. I was like, well, please, you need to know what is the policy, the ethical considerations of engaging with AI, privacy issues in terms of how you put your information out there. So in terms of designing the assessment, well, I decided to give them a pre-task survey because I wanted to gauge their knowledge and also their attitudes towards Copilot and ChatGPT. The second component of my task was, well, here is the legal problem solving exercise. So I gave them a scenario, and it was a scenario based on a statutory interpretation. What I really like about this task is that it was quite particular, which means that I knew that they just couldn't get the answers right away from AI. Now, when the students came to me and they said to me, Anna, what are your views on AI? I experienced a similar situation when I conducted the indigenization of Law 110. I don't want to tell students how I think. I don't want them to parrot my ideas or my thinking. I want them to dive into all these amazing resources that we have prepared for them, and I want them to elicit what do they think. I want them to reflect. So I wanted them to create this authentic learning. So I gave them the legal problem exercise, and I said, I want you to answer the question using AI. So you could either use Copilot or ChatGPT. The second step is now I want you to answer the question using the ILAC method of legal problem solving. So you have to identify a legal issue, which is a question. Sorry? Okay, so you have to discuss the relevant law, which needs to be current. I knew this was going to do something that AI cannot normally do because it needs to be jurisdiction specific. So, and it needs to be current, cannot be outdated. Then I asked my students, I want you to compare both answers, the one that you prepare using the ILAC method of legal problem solving and the one that you prepared using AI tools, and tell me, how do you think, which one do you think is more appropriate? What are the deficiencies and the advantages of both methods? And I would like you to reflect on it. So, of course, a way of assessing this engagement with AI tools was measured through student evaluation surveys, peer review, and, talking constantly with peer has been very helpful, and also measuring the student performance. Now, in terms of class performance, is that even though that some students, if the students didn't do well in their second assessment item, I knew that they were going to use this knowledge to improve their performance in assessment 3 and also in the final exam, because both assessments have a strong part of the assessment is actually based on legal problem solving. So I am like, okay, let's fix this problem. So the reflection was very exciting because I asked them which aspects of your answer were accurate and aligned to the content of topic 2, which was actually the topic assessed. By the assessment, what are the errors and the limitations of using AI? How did you assess whether AI suggestions were correct? And but I was very excited when they were able to tell me, wow, Anna, before using AI, again, EU authorizes, now I know that it cannot solve legal problems, but it can help with the development of other skills, like, for instance, legal writing. It helps them to clarify their thinking. Some of the students said to me that they suffer from writer's blockage, so they get paralyzed when they read the subject outline and all these instructions. Now they know, no, it's okay. If you read the subject outline and you follow the steps of ILAC, even if it's not as fluent, maybe I can use AI to do the original research or to improve the fluency of your academic writing. But the answer is that it cannot solve the legal problems. So I saw it promoted authentic learning because it allowed the students to apply legal knowledge in context. It also allowed them to assess the ethical implications, the ethical dimensions of emerging technologies, how reliable the sources are, and most importantly, they were able to make professional judgments, and it was student-centric, and they were not parroting my views on AI. So they did put AI on the stand, I guess.
Thank you. Thank you, Anela. It's so inspiring to see how, my initial attempt of trialing AI now turns into something that could be transferable and applied by Anela and Anna. So thank you for sharing that. I'm mindful of time. I just want to say that there are quite different resources attached at the end of the framework document that we sent to you, that you should have received it in the Word file. So I'm not going through that in this workshop, because we want to spare the time to give you enough time to see how you could or able to adapt this framework that Anela and Anna and myself have tried in your subject discipline. So can we please have the Padlet shared on the chat, Kelly? And Kelly would put you into breakout room. We initially want to have 10 minutes, but I think we need to reduce each activity slightly. Say 7 minutes for this one, where in breakout group, can you please review or reflect on the CARE Plus framework and also the 6 stages of the assessment design stage, where we shared with you and in the Word file that you have, and also what we have discussed so far, and see whether any pros and cons, any benefits, anything good about that framework, any critique you'd like to put that we can all work on. Thank you.
Just getting those rooms ready. Okay, opening rooms now. I did put the Padlet in the chat so everyone can see that. Great. All right, I'll see you back here in 7 minutes.
Grab the link now before you are sent into breakout room.
Okay. Damn it, I'm not quite sure. Oh,
Thank
no,
you.
there, gone. Okay, so if you guys open the rooms, you can see the button that says rooms up the top. If you open that, and then there's 4 rooms because there was 20 people. If you kind of highlight one of those rooms, I would pick whether you're going to go into room 1, 2, or 3, and there's 3 little dots come up.
Yeah.
If you click on those dots, you can say join. You can click on join.
Right.
So maybe just pick which rooms you're going to go into and go in there.
And we can hop in and out.
Should be able to, yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So
You're on mute, Arnella.
Yeah.
Just so we don't all go in the same room.
Yeah, I
Which-
would pick one state.
Yes, I'll go to room 2. Is that okay?
I'll go into 3 just because there are only 3 there.
Yeah.
And then I'll hop out and hop in.
Yeah, and so maybe someone go into room 4. So Anna, if you go
Yeah.
into room 4 for that same reason.
Okay. I'm struggling. I cannot locate the rooms. Sorry, Kelly.
Oh, if you click the rooms button that's sort of across the top, so where you can sort of see chat and, you know, raise hand, react, things like that, you should have a rooms button. If you open that up,
More. Yeah.
it'll show you the.
Yeah, no, for some reason I cannot. That's okay. Don't worry. I'll find it.
I might see if I can add you, Anna. Sometimes that
Thank
works, but
you.
I'm not sure.
Yes, for some reason
I was
I cannot
about to
find the
see.
rooms. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Well, you're not coming up.
Yeah, it's not displaying here.
I wonder whether you joined as an external, Anna, by any chance. Not. You're possibly
No.
not. I'm just trying to.
No, I logged
troubleshoot a
in
few
as
things
Anna
in there.
Torres. I was having some issues earlier when my camera still having issues. I don't know where my camera has gone,
Yeah.
which is terrible. But you can manually add me. That would be great, please.
Yeah, I'm looking at that, but I don't think I can. It's not coming up.
Yeah, I can't see you on the like literally you're not in the list of people that are kind of in this room that I can see anyway when I try and do it. So, which I know is a bit weird.
Yeah,
That's okay.
that's a shame. Anna, I'm curious, how is this assessment been completed, or it's just recently been implemented? I'm just curious
It has
to
been,
hear
yeah,
what.
it has been, yes, recently implemented. Mark, and something I forgot to mention during the presentation is that it also has a post-task survey, which is going to tell me how students engage with AI. So it has one before and one after they have completed the
Very good. Yeah.
legal problem solving. I'm happy to talk with you at some point if you would like to discuss it further.
I'd love to hear, because while I helped Anella, she was very generous in her praise. I just lent a critical ear from time to time. Her assessment was just so well scaffolded across the 3 assessments. So I'm keen to hear back any feedback from academics who have recently implemented one. It's one of those things of refining what we do and picking all the good bits.
It'll be a pleasure.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
If you're interested, the rooms are having a good chat, so you can actually look in Teams, and I'm getting a copy of the chats from the rooms, so it's nice to see everyone's very busily talking to each other, so that's good.
Oh, that's really, really good. That's fantastic. Oh, what should we do?
I feel like I'm snooping, but that's just what I'm doing. So
Okay. I
creepily-
can see room 4. I can see room 4 and all the rooms. I might have to join one of those rooms because I still cannot join a room, and now I can. Oh, okay. There you go. I see. Oh, yes, I can join now. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Very, very good.
Yeah, maybe go into room 4 if you can. Yeah, it's interesting. People are still taking, again, just reading the rooms, people are still taking a very kind of, you cannot use AI for these assessments kind of view. And what they're saying is, you know, because they're thinking that that's, you know, that's the way to get students to stop using AI. Yeah, it's just not.
Yeah, it's just not realistic. And I hate to be extremist about anything, but it's not realistic. We need to deal with that. I have some concerns about the power and the resources it uses, but I I just don't know what I can do about that, but use it more wisely. But students are going to use it. So I think we have an obligation to direct them to use it responsibly. And if we're not going to teach them, who is? If we try and ignore it and say don't use it.
There's an expectation from the professions that they will be quite proficient in using it. And I still remember a while ago, I'm pretty sure it was Lisa Carey that was giving a speech, and, you know, and it was to other educators, and they were sort of, you know, oh, well, educators, AI, blah, blah, blah. And she said, AI is not going to take your job, but an educator who is able to use AI sustainably and ethically will take your job. So, and I think that's like, that's it. The professions are looking for students who are able to use AI sustainably and ethically. We just cannot put our head in the sand anymore. It's just impossible. I'm just going to send a little 2 more minutes announcement. Is that okay, Anna?
Yes, that's fine.
Perfect. And then we'll keep a little eye on the time and just make sure we send a close off.
Looks like this is where the party is.
Oh, obviously, Lachlan. Always when Mark and I are involved.
No, I thought I had one job to manage the breakout rooms, but Kelly's on fire. I'm not even pressing it.
Sorry, I know Mark doesn't even get to press the one button he knows how to press.
That was my job.
Where were you in the keynote when I needed you, Kel, when everything just blew up?
Canberra. So Yep. Oh, geez, room 4 is having a good old chat. They're loving it.
Who's in there?
It's Laura Delapisi and and Matt Ellis, and Laura's in like psychology and Matt's in nursing, and they are just going back and forward. Yeah.
Well,
and
it might
in fact, have organised to try and catch up and keep this discussion going once we close the breakout room. So how good's that?
It might be an interesting activity after the event as well, depending on the presenters. If people want to run the transcripts for all of their breakouts and things through AI to come up with summaries for them to kind of provide back to the participants or for their own reference, because we're not recording the breakouts, but I think the transcription we can get. So that might be interesting. Your presenters have been able to jump in between different breakouts, or not really?
Anna wasn't able to before, but she seems to be able to now. So I don't know. She's not even coming up on the list kind of thing. So I don't know what was going on. But I have given them 30 seconds. So
I changed all of them to co-organizers as well. So that gives you additional powers to choose where you go. That might be why she's not on the list. Because it looked like presenters got locked into one room and then they had to leave the whole meeting and then come back and then go into another one room. Like they don't have autonomy like we do.
Yeah, okay. Look, I'm just going to close the rooms. These guys, Pia and Anella were able to pick a room, but Anna, for some reason, it wasn't working for her. But I've just closed the room, so they should all be coming back in a sec. But she did seem like she got in.
Yours is working better than the other two, so I'll leave you to it.
Because of me, yeah.
No worries.
Thanks, Lachlan. Right, I think everyone's back in the main room now. So I'll hand it back over to you guys for, to continue on.
Yeah. Anela, is Anela back?
Yes, I'm back. Hi.
Over to you.
Okay, Kelly, you're muted. You're on mute.
Sorry, what is it that you'd like me to do? Are we back in the breakout rooms? Is that?
No.
We're back in the main room.
Yeah, is everybody back here yet?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Everyone's back in the main room. Yep.
Yes.
And then
So
you want to hold these? Yep.
Yeah, let's share what we've all discussed in our breakout rooms. Would it be possible to hear maybe if any group would like to volunteer to share their thoughts? If not, we could just start with group one. Anyone from group one to discuss what you found was really positive about the model, and what were your critiques of that model as well?
Just to clarify, Sangeetha, Andrea, Tara and Lucia were in group one, just in case people weren't aware of their group numbers.
Group, maybe group two, or
Group two was Catherine, Courtney, Jake and Helen.
Oh, so that's Team Monk. I wonder if Helen would like to cover some of the points. No?
I didn't
Okay,
actually
great.
take the notes. Who took the notes in our group? Was that
That was
Catherine?
me. Yes.
Do you want to go through them, Catherine? You could perhaps show our Padlet. Share our
Yeah,
Padlet.
I can't share. Do you want to
Okay.
share the Padlet, Kelly? Sorry. And it's Team Monk. Thank you, Helen.
I shared a palette already, Cass.
Awesome.
Okay, well, basically in terms of the positives, we thought that the framework was great in that it is a type of framework that actually with or without AI can be applied, that it is solid and that it is key and it captures the key essence of that. And we like it because it also it creates sort of a bite-sized digestible actions. So you can ensure, and you can use it like a checklist also, which is self-guiding. We also, in terms of what did we have for the, I don't think we had any of the cons over there. Yeah, I think one of the other considerations that we did talk about a fair bit was around the amount of time that this involves. It is a journey. It's not a sprint. It involves actually having to relook at even the whole of the design stage of the assessments for the whole subject, and that it could also have implications for the design of the subject right through to the contents and the learning objectives, and that actually the focus as given through the framework also could elevate the whole student experience of studying and CSU through what this opportunity with AI actually brings in taking perhaps thinking and learning to another level. So we're very positive about it. Anyway, anyone else from my group can add to that.
excellent. What about group three? Or group four?
Yeah, I can speak to group 4.
Excellent, thank you.
There was only myself and Laura in the group, so we had quite an intimate discussion. There wasn't really too much. It was kind of through a chat as well, but it was pretty good. We firstly, we just had some concerns about Gen AI from a psychological perspective from the discipline, but also from my discipline, which is nursing. and just the fact that it is, we believe that it is quite broadly used. So we think that there's a lot of students already engaging it, but this framework really would provide with a nice model for students to engage with so that they understand how to use it more effectively. I think also that there's different elements with Gen AI, and as everyone was talking, or a few people were talking, then I was just thinking about the creative elements of it and what I could do with it in the future. And I would really like it if nursing students could perhaps make a patient pamphlet or maybe a brochure or something that's focused clinically, that's relevant, and generate some content. So more so the creative side of it, and thinking about how this framework could fit in relation to the more creative side of Gen AI, even though Gen AI is creative in all elements, but really that creative artwork, I guess. But yeah, we're excited. We think it's a mostly positive thing. We didn't come up with too many cons of the framework. It was just more about just our frustrations with the broader use of Gen AI, and that we're a bit of a slow uptake in general, not just CSU, but just educational institutions, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, true.
Sorry, I'm group 4 as well, but not feeling too well. So that's a voice and everything.
Yeah, we had a bit of a chat going on.
Yeah, we did most of it in the chat. I found that with the type of assessment that we were just given as an example, I have tried to raise those ideas before and I've experienced a bit of pushback because of people saying that it can become an equity issue if some students can afford supposedly more superior versions of AI than other students. So what one student is able to generate might not be the same as another, and that could then affect their evaluations of it as well.
Can I mention something? I actually thought of the same thing. I found that this is a concern in teaching in general. And so I've asked students to use specifically only Copilot that they can access through CSU or ChatGPT free version. And an additional reason why I've used group work in my assessments is because I thought that students also may decide that they don't want to use AI, but I didn't want them to be disadvantaged by not doing that. So by working as part of the group, they can rely on somebody else using AI and then bringing in the results to the group. And this is also something that's related to environmental impact of using AI. So if we have one person in a group using AI, maybe during the group work, so they can also ask strategic questions and have ability to think through the process together. I thought that that's something that then they don't, or there'll be less of an issue of the environmental impact in using that as a reason not to engage in AI. And I've also designed reflection assessment so it can be flexible. So students can reflect on use of AI in developing their strategic thinking skills. But if they decide not to use AI, then they're just reflecting on working as part of a group and how that affected their strategic thinking skills. So it can be done. It just requires these additional little steps to again implement that in the subject, the assessment design.
Yeah, that sounds good. Thanks.
Thank you. Shall we move on? Thanks, Anila. For this one, I think we ran out of time, but we just like you to take a little bit deeper reflection on how you could actually adapt that 6 stages and actually assuming you're trialing AI in one of your subjects or one of your assessments next year, first session, how would you do it? So let's say we take 7 minutes, and Kelly, I think we only need 3 groups or 3 breakout rooms.
Yep, I will. I'll delete one of them. Oh, golly.
Sorry, maybe 6 minutes.
Okay, yep.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm just deleting one room so that hopefully everyone else just goes.
Yeah, might have to attach that adaptation template. Has anyone sent in the breakout room yet?
No, I haven't opened the rooms yet.
Okay, so I might just attach the file
Put
in
that
the
in the
chat.
chat then. Yep.
Yeah.
Right, let me know when you're ready and I'll open the rooms.
I hope that's the right one.
See you guys in 7 minutes.
Sorry, might have to do only 5 now. 5 minutes. Kelly.
Sorry, I'd muted myself. There's one room there each for you to go into at least at this point. So I'll keep an eye on the time and I'll say which room you're going to go into and then you can do that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we need to come back, at least leave 5 minutes.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah, thank you.
So who's going to which room?
I'm going into room 3.
I'll go then to room 1.
Great.
See you soon.
Anna, you're in 2. Right, that's okay, yeah. One room. Okay, yeah, room 1 and 3. There we go.
As the posh people say, Kelly, it's going swimmingly.
Look, all I wanted to make sure, Mark, was that I wasn't the reason something had stuffed up. You know, I just didn't want to be the reason that someone who has spent, you know, a long time working on developing this workshop had a terrible experience because of me. So as long as I haven't done anything to stuff anything up, I'm quite frankly, that's the best I can ask for at this point. But no, I think it's going really well.
Oh, very good. I love the topic. And look, I'm very sympathetic towards what Laura said.
Yeah.
And I think as much as, you know, the simple answer there is we specify Copilot because everyone has the same access to it, but we can't prevent others from.
No, but that is the case in education in general. We, you know, some people have enough money to hire a tutor to help them when they're struggling. And that was sort of my point, is that, you know, inequity is in all facets of education. It doesn't just apply to AI, unfortunately. So yeah, we do exactly what Arnella was saying, is that you specify a tool that we know everyone has access to. I mean, you know, we know that people don't all have the same level of data downloads. You know, we know that anyway.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you've got the situation where, you know, some can afford some contract cheating and.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, some people can afford to not have to work as well as go to university. So they have a lot more time to, you know, spend actually getting assessments done. And other people have to, you know, basically hold down a full-time job. So that's just life, unfortunately. Yeah. But keeping a very close eye on the chat. I can't believe the hour's up already. When she said we don't have time for this, I looked and I was like, it's 10 to 3. What happened? You never have enough time, do you? You do all these little activities.
When you've got 3 or 4 people presenting, it can easily creep. And by the time we get people in rooms and
we had the same thing this morning too. We had, I think he had a workshop going and we had 7, well, you were there, that 7 minutes at the end there. And I think, you know, Gennaro was sort of, didn't realise that the time had even gotten to that point. So
I think it got swayed a bit by that, the gentleman that asked the question. Great question. But it was
for a different time and place.
Yeah, some other time. Love the question, but not now. But I think it's on both of the sessions. I got a lot out of this morning's session on the basis that, you know, there's a minefield of ethical issues there, but there's an enthusiasm to embrace it and use it.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that what people really want now is this stuff, examples. What are other people doing? How could I take that and put it in, you know, in my area? I think, you know, everyone's kind of done talking and thinking about it. We all know that there are ethical issues and concerns, and none of those are going to be solved in the next 3 days. But for right now, we do have to start working with it. So how do we do that in a way that's still kind of ethical, kind of sustainable, ensuring that there's a critical analysis lens put on everything? So I think it's the perfect time to hold these sorts of workshops where people get an example of, oh, this might be how I could use it. Oh, you know. Also, the other thing I've learned is that cartoon me is just adorable. Now I don't want to ever look at regular me again. I'm like, look how cute we all are.
Yeah, you've made a beautiful bride, Kelly.
Yeah, no, I couldn't find any photos. I'm like, oh, I've got my wedding album there. I'll just do that. Oh dear.
That's why I had a shot of my cat handy. I thought that'll do.
Yes, yeah. Well, I wasn't going to do it at all because I'm like, I'm facilitating, you know, be professional. But then I was like, actually, I've probably got, you know, there's some capacity in here to do that. All right, we've got 4 minutes left, so I'm going to close the rooms and they can all come back. We can finalize up.
Very good.
Very quick.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I know that was a quick one, but I'm pretty sure that everyone's back in the room. So Pia, Nella, Anna, over to you to wrap up.
Yeah. Yeah, so thank you, everybody. It's nice to see everyone trying to engage in the discussion. We probably can only allow one person to speak, a volunteer to speak from each group. Shall we start from room 1, if everybody knows where they were?
That was
For about
Sangeetha,
a minute
Tara,
of sharing.
Jake, Helen, and Marianne.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark. So just something that you picked up in summary from there, anything that you want to reflect on for the framework, the 6 stages, and also going forward, whether you're going to implement it and how, in short. Thank you. You want to say the names again, Mark?
Sangeetha, Tara, Jake, Helen, and Marianne.
Anyone like to share theirs? Or reflection from the group?
Maybe I will. So
Thank you.
Helen was wonderful in shared experience where she was involved with another subject in how they've designed the first assessment, which was guiding students in how to use AI and then how to critique and evaluate the AI's output. And we thought that that was really important because it emphasizes that our students come with diverse skills in using AI. Some have none and some are really good. So apart from designing assessments that allow use of AI, we really need to think about that first step that we've emphasized in our framework, which is providing resources for students and teaching them how to actually use AI, what is a good prompt, and so on and so forth. So that was, yeah, a good summary of.
Thank you, Arnella. People from room 2, thanks, Mark.
Catherine, Courtney, Andrea, Katya, and Matthew.
It's just Matthew, Catherine, and I.
Catherine is gone.
And she's gone, yeah. We feel free to jump in, Matthew. We were chatting about a comment that Matthew made prior regarding assessment in nursing and all of that kind of stuff. So we kind of really focused on that. And the gist of it is that Matt, in his area, he's in nursing, is sort of embracing or planning on embracing a bit more Gen AI use and trying to implement ways of getting, again, correct me if I'm wrong, getting students, no matter where they come in from, or no matter what their background is, if they've come in as mature age students or new, 18, 19-year-olds into nursing, get them all on the same level in terms of ability with using AI and creating assessments and all of that kind of stuff that will help them. Again, I think it was mentioned before, critically analyze AI outputs and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, Matt, please. Did I miss anything?
No, that was great, Courtney. It was good to catch up with you. And also from your academic integrity perspective, it was really nice to get your insights, but just, yeah, it was a really nice discussion. So I've gained a lot today.
Thank you. Yeah. Anyone from room 3?
We didn't participate last time, sorry, because I didn't work out we were room 3. I think we kind of still felt a little bit like it was still going to be tricky for us to adapt what we had across, I think is probably the main bit. Yeah, and exactly what those assessments would look like. So I think a majority of the discussion that we sort of had around Emmett and with Emmett, and because we looked at his assignment, was that he felt that that whole assessment and what was in the content probably needed to change. Yeah, I think I still come back to the trickiness that I have a very, I feel like my thing is kind of factual and content. And so I teach veterinary anatomy, and I don't know how creative you can get with that whilst having a good focus on deep learning of the content, if that makes sense. So I think for some of us, there's still a little bit of massaging.
Yeah.
I'll just say there is a way. There is a way.
Yeah, 100%. I'm sure
the L&T teams would be happy to assist you and go into deeper level in your context, really.
We can put it in.
Yeah. But with the CSU position changing from restricting to encouraging the use of AI, I think we all have to, whether or not we use it in the assessment is a separate issue, but we all have to be aware and, that our students are using it. And as I shared with one of the groups earlier, that I can see how they are in the recent exam, where my students have to upload Word and Excel file, how their answers are actually AI produced, but I just don't have proof to prove that and bring them for investigation. So that is a very frustrating situation where I think something that need to have a much more deeper reflection on. But thank you so much, everyone, for your participation and contribution. And I hope this has been useful. And I took 3 minutes more of your time. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you very much. Thank you. Great session. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone, for joining us today.